Hey everyone, Random Randy here. This is going to be a short little Etsy shop update slash probably some chatter afterwards, just because I've got nothing better to do with myself today. I haven't really done much with yarn because I have been totally focused on sewing for the past couple of weeks because I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff in the shop, so hopefully I can sell a bunch of stuff so I have money to give to attorneys for super fun things that I'm still dealing with that hopefully will be wrapped up next week. So if anybody's got a spare happy thought or some good mojo to send my way for a favorable outcome for all of this malarkey, be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. So anyway, I'm trying out a couple of new things. I'm trying to figure out the best way to use up my huge bag of fabric scraps. I say scraps because they're too small to make a regular bag, but they're not really small. I mean, some of them are super teeny tiny and have to be made into like crumb blocks to be used, but some of them are sizable-ish pieces, and I finally found some different patterns to try out. So I'm going to show you all the stuff that I have been working on, and all of this stuff is currently up in my Etsy shop, so if you are interested or you know somebody who is, send them over there. The link will be down in the description box below the video like it always is. So first, these are two things that are totally new to me in the realm of making things. And the first thing is something that kind of went out of style, but also didn't, but apparently is kind of back in fashion-ish right now and has been for a few years, and that would be hair scrunchies. Being a child in the 90s, things like this were a staple piece that was necessary. I actually remember when we went to visit my grandfather, my mom's dad, in Florida, and we went to this huge indoor flea market thing, and there was a stall that was full of these huge, beautiful scrunchies, and I got to get a whole bunch of them that I took home, and I had them for years and years and years until the elastic wore out in them. And back then I would have had no idea how to fix them, because honestly, if I still had them, I probably could have fixed them and still be able to wear them now. But anyway, hair scrunchies. These are each made from just a fat quarter. I got 4 hair scrunchies out of a single fat quarter. This one in particular is this really pale blue color, and it has all these really neat feathers on it. I don't know if maybe I can stretch it a little bit here so you'll be able to see the pattern a bit better maybe. But there's a couple of different styles of feather on here. It's pretty cool, and as far as size goes, I mean, it fits on my wrist. I guess I have kind of slender wrists, but I have big hands, and it fits comfortably over my hand. I can wrap it around my hair twice. Actually, I can wrap around my hair 3 times comfortably. And it's got 1/4 inch elastic in it. I'm just trying to find things to do with my fabric. So these are up in the shop. These are just regular scrunchies. There's 4 with the blue. There's 4 that are the sandy color with the same type of feathers. There's 4 of those as well. And there are also 4 with this really cute butterfly print. That's pretty neat. There's 12 altogether. They're all up on my shop under a single listing. I think that in the future I might offer packs with them, maybe like a small bag with a scrunchie to match, so that I'm using up all of the fabric at once and just kind of getting it out and gone. We'll see. We'll see how selling of the scrunchies goes in the first place, because they are kind of fun to make and I really like it, so it might be an ongoing thing. The next thing, as I said, this is kind of new to me. As you all know, I've been making bags for a couple of years now, but Once I found a couple of styles that I liked, that being my totes and my drawstring, I pretty much just stagnated and stuck to it. Well, now I found something I can do with itty bitty fabric scraps, because these, all 4 of them are different, and they all contain some Nightmare Before Christmas fabric, and some of the pieces of fabric were super duper teeny tiny. Like in this portion here, this is actually 2 separate little pieces that made kind of this accidental almost log cabin portion. But these little bags are 5x5. They do have interfacing, so they're pretty sturdy. They've got a clip, and they've got a ribbon tab holding the clip in place, and it's all this cute little Halloween ghost ribbon that I got, because why not stick with a theme? The zippers are purple, and the inside, if you can see it, is this kind of spotted, twisty, turny, I don't know, it just felt very Tim Burton type of fabric that I had. I got it to make masks and made a whole bunch of masks with it, and I still have a bag full of all of the masks that I made because pretty much nobody bought any of them. So yeah. So there's 4 of those. Each one of them is different because they're all literally made from different scrap fabric. So there are no 2 that are exactly alike in that regard, and I will probably be using that pattern to make more bags like that in the future because I really like them. They're the perfect size for carrying small things. It'd be great to just clip it onto a backpack, or they'd be good for like small little gifts for kids for parties, because then you don't have a bag to throw away, you've got a bag to keep. Be good for amigurumis too. That just gave me an idea that I need to remember for later. So anyway, that's the small stuff. Other stuff is regular bags that you're used to seeing from me. And I've got 3 of this first one, and that is a drawstring bag with these cute little sugar skull style dogs on it. It's the same size as all of my normal bags. It's about 16 by 12-ish is the finished size, and it's got this big old wrist strap on it, or you can use this to hang it on the wall. Has lengthy drawstrings. Also has the little ghost ribbon inside of it. And has my shop name and my blog address. Not that I've put anything up on my blog in 100,000,000 years, but I really should. And that's just not gonna focus, is it? Oh, maybe. Maybe. There we go. Anyway. So there's 3 of the one with the dogs. 1, 2, 3. And I also have one that I did in the taller style rather than the wide style that I usually do. So it's the same size, but it is tall rather than wide. And it's also a drawstring, and it has these cute little sugar skull kitty cats on it. Same double drawstring, same wrist strap, everything else. But there's only 1 of these because I didn't have as much of that fabric. It is really cute though. And now on to the more seasonal stuff, because I've had this fabric sitting around since before St. Patrick's Day last year. I think I bought this stuff and intended to do it then and just didn't, because interfaced tote bags are a lot of juggling and a lot of work, and that's why they cost slightly more. So these are my heavy duty interfaced tote bags. These are all green and St. Patrick's Day themed. They are the same size as the drawstring bags. They are about 12, 13 by 16, and they have a boxed bottom, which is 5 inches across. This one in particular has Celtic knots that are shaped like clovers, and it has 4-leaf clovers and regular shamrocks on it. And it's a bunch of shades of green, and some of it's metallic. And the inside of this one is this really cool green checkerboard kind of mottled print that I really like. It's got the Polypro handles. This stuff is heavy duty interfacing. Like, you could use this as a shopping bag. I have used my cupcake bag that I made in this style with this interfacing like almost 4 years ago now, I think, and it's my everyday purse. It carries everything. I stuff it so much that the clasp I have on mine won't even close, and it's still holding strong. And I actually washed it for the first time the other day, and it does indeed hold up just fine through a wash. I just ironed it afterwards, and it's good to go. So these things stand completely on their own with nothing in them. They're very, very sturdy. And they're huge. So there's 2 of that particular exterior print with all the shamrocks on it. These ones, so those are the wide style. All the rest of these are tall rather than wide. So they're the same dimensions, but tall. So this one and the next one are kind of misfits because I was just trying to mix and match what I had left of the fabric to get as much of it used as I could. So this one is green and gold on the outside, and the gold is slightly metallic. And the inside is this really bright, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, maybe, this really bright spring green paisley print. And this one is the taller style. And I have ironed them down so that they will lay flat, but they puff right out when you pick them up. This one is that same paisley print, but on the outside. And the exterior of this one is just a solid gray. So there's only 1 each of those because they were the misfits. And then I've got 2 of this one, and it is a green fabric with a kind of stylized Celtic knot, Celtic crest that repeats all the way across it in shades of green. And the inside of this one is that same green and gold metallic that was the outside of the other bag. And like I said, these 2 are tall rather than wide. And that is all I have got for bags and stuff. I know it doesn't seem like very much, does it? But in between all the other things I'm having to take care of and making sure that the kids are doing school stuff, I feel like I've accomplished a lot in the last few days getting those done. So it is what it is, I guess. I'm trying not to compare my output now to what my output was when neither of the boys were in school, when they both still napped, when I wasn't also attempting to find employment and a billion trillion other things, and when I was still in a stable, established relationship. And yeah. So I'm trying really hard not to compare myself to what I could accomplish when I had those things and when I could, like, stay up all night working and a million other things, rather than, like, yesterday. I got a ton of sewing done. I got all that stuff with my Etsy shop done yesterday, in between the boys each having 3 out of sync distance learning classes on the computer yesterday, and then having to take them to their dad too for the weekend, which is, yeah, I got a lot of things done considering all of the other things I have to do, and I'm really, really bad about never accepting anything I do as being enough. I suppose. So anyway, before I get talking too terribly much, because I'm probably just going to talk until until the timer runs out on this, if you're interested in any of the things that you saw and you would like to purchase them, my Etsy shop is Ansear Handmade over on Etsy, and I'll pop the name up here somewhere, and like I said, link is down in the description box below the video, so share it around, let people know. I could really use the money from this stuff right now to finish wrapping things up so I can move forward and onward with my life. Thank you, and I appreciate it. So, it has been an insane last couple of weeks. I actually had an entire craft confessional that I filmed at the same time that I filmed my yarn haul, and I sat on it for so long that I'm not even going to bother publishing the video now because it's just not worth it. I ended up not getting to finish the sweater that I started. It is pretty close. Honestly, I think I've just got the bottom ribbing and the sleeves to finish, and it will be done. The gray ombre sweater with the purple turtleneck that I'm going to do purple cuffs on too. Yeah. I worked on it a lot, and then, as always, life happened, and I just didn't get to finish it, so it is what it is. I'm going to keep working away at it. I'm sure I will still be able to wear it for the duration of the springtime when I finish it, because even though it is the end of February here in Washington, it is, I mean, we just had snow a couple days ago. But for the most part, aside from that random cold snap, we're pretty much going to be heading into springtime now, provided the seasons continue as they have for the past few years I've lived here. Yeah. And speaking of the snow a few days ago, I had gotten into bed and it was about 10:30 and the boys were asleep, and I heard this really weird high-pitched whining noise. And I walked around the house trying to figure out where it was coming from, and I didn't have the dryer running, I didn't have the dishwashing machine running, any of that stuff. And it turned out it was the heater making a horrible noise just before it gave its last death rattle and lost the fight and died. Turns out that it was a 15-year-old unit, and the way that they installed it, there was no filter in front of the blower fan, and it got clogged with gunk, and the fan being clogged overtaxed the motor still trying to make it run, so it just said, "F you, I quit." And it was done. And then it snowed that night. So woke up in the morning to quite a cold house, because in Washington, for whatever reason, homes are not built with insulation in a proper fashion. Maybe I'm just used to overkill insulation because I grew up in New York where it's quite cold, but I think it's insane and horrible that you can put your hand under any of the window sills here, not next to the window part that opens itself, but beneath the sill, underneath the ledge, and you can feel airflow through there. So that's how not insulated houses are here. Our house over on Post when we lived on Fort Lewis was the same, and it is maddening. Do people not know that if your house is properly insulated, it not only stays warmer, but it will also be cooler in the summer? Because it will be. It really, really will be. It doesn't just keep it hot, it helps keep it cool too. Do better. That's all there is to it. Please do better. I want to buy an old stick-built house, not a manufactured home that they drop on a foundation in 2 pieces and put like blown insulation in the walls and everything and get all new windows. That's my dream. So anyway, long story short, ended up getting a tech to come out and look at it, told me what the problem was, told me that with how old it was, to just replace the blower section of the furnace was going to cost almost as much as a new unit because it was so old. confirmed that that was actually the truth, and then had a tech come out 2 days later to put in a new heating element. And now the furnace doesn't run constantly. It's not blowing nothing but Arctic air because it's huffing and puffing as hard as it can and can't create heat. So it's much more efficient, and I think that it will do good things for the electric bill too. So it was kind of sticker shock horrible to deal with, but you know, you can't really go without heat unless it's the middle of summer in Washington, so had to get done. So it's taken care of, problem solved. And if anybody is wondering about my sweater, this is the His and Hers outdoor sweater, which is a free pattern, I think, from Red Heart, so it's probably on the Yarnspiration site now, because didn't they buy out Red Heart, which is kind of weird and Monopoly-ish. But if I can find the updated link for it, I will post the link for it below. I made it with Deborah Norville. At the time, it was Deborah Norville Everyday Yarn. Now it's just Premier Everyday Yarn in the lava colorway. Couldn't tell you how many skeins. Way too many. And I will say that this is why I hate Caron Simply Soft. Well, one of the many reasons why I hate Caron Simply Soft. So I did the neckband and the cuffs in Caron Simply Soft Black because it felt similar to the Premier yarn. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. I don't know if it will focus. Oh, I guess it will, kind of. But you can see how fuzzy it looks off the edge here. This is like completely haloed and fuzzed out, and it's just, it feels icky. This portion, for being the cuff, doesn't stretch. It doesn't stretch. The rest of it is very movable, and this is just rigid and icky, and I don't like it. It doesn't wash well. I don't care how pretty people think it is in the skein. It washes like trash. Makes me sad. I'm not a fan of Caron Simply Soft. That's all there is to it. /rant. But yeah, I do love this sweater. I ended up making it tunic length, so I can actually wear it with leggings and it looks like a dress, which is kind of cool. I'm just wearing a tank top under it now because it's comfortable in the house, and I can have the heating unit set to like 68 degrees and it will actually feel like that temperature, not like 40 degrees like it did before. So on that note, I have one more thing I'd like to add. One thing, not two things. I don't know why I did this. One. And that is that with everything going on, I do have a GoFundMe set up for legal fees that hopefully after next week I will no longer be needing access to. But I do still need to generate some funds before then. So if you are interested, you can drop a donation over on GoFundMe, or you can just donate directly through my PayPal. There is a link there. Or you can buy something from my shop. Or, not that this helps me immediately, you can just put on a playlist of one of my videos and just let it run in the background so it kicks my watch time up. You don't have to click on ads or anything. I don't know if that even honestly helps at this point. I don't know. Everything with algorithms is changing in a way that I do not enjoy, and quite frankly, I don't have the time to research the way that it's changing right now, so I cannot adapt. But hopefully, my goal for the end of this year was to be up to 10,000 subscribers. That was my goal last year before COVID happened, and we all know how that derailed everybody's lives and everything in the known universe to us at the moment. And I ended up finally making it over 5K. So if I actually get dedicated and make myself post videos at least every other week, I would love to post weekly, but I don't know with what's going on, because hopefully I'll actually be starting to work soon because I have completed everything I need to graduate. I just need to have enough money to finish graduating and pay to take my test and then pay to get my certification and then pay to get my business licenses, and It's funny how when you don't have money, you have to pay for all of these things to make money. It's almost like it's a trap to make sure that people can't raise themselves up without some external assistance. Fun stuff. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you are all doing as well as you possibly can be considering our current life and universe circumstances. There's a full moon tonight, so think happy thoughts. This is for wrapping up old things and preparing to bring in new things. So if you're feeling a sense of completion or like you're just totally done with some garbage that's going on in your life, that's the full moon coming up. Buckle up, get ready for it, embrace it instead of denying it. So, I hope you are all well, and I will catch you all in the next video sometime soon-ish. Take care, guys. Bye.